Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory Update 8 with Lone Debater 7. And today we're going to be wrapping up our heavy modular frame build. That's right, part 3 of the heavy modular frames is here. This one will likely be quite a bit faster. And why will it be faster? Because A, we only have one thing to make, and that is modular frames. In the last two episodes, we put together the steel pipes, the encased industrial beams, and the screws for these heavy modular frame manufacturers. That's in the factory behind me. But for this one, I went ahead and got the blueprint designer and kind of built some designs, and I'm going to try it out and see how it works. But I think ultimately it's going to speed up our build time quite a bit, even given the limitations that it has, right? I mean, a 4x4x4 area is not that big. You can fit basically like 3 floors worth of stuff if you're not putting miners inside of it. So that's pretty good, but no worries. We're going to kind of take a look. So since last time, I did add in quite a bit of walls and laid this into more of like a structure as opposed to just a giant platform with machines on it. you know, just to kind of give it a little bit more of that feel. I don't know why that was missing, but that's fine. So yeah, this all has a roof and all that good stuff. I still need to put in lights. Because when it's nighttime, it does get reasonably dark in here. So I unlocked lights, right? So if I go to power special, no, is it architecture? Organization. I have the light control panel and I have ceiling lights, so I just need to go around and kind of put those on the ceilings and connect them to power, and then it won't be a big deal. We can turn them on and off. Like, we can turn them on if we're in the factory at night. But anyway, guys, let's dive into the build. Before we do that, I just want to say, if you're new to the channel, take this moment to subscribe. Really helps me out, and I will be playing this series and doing more builds, and we'll be showing off more stuff about Satisfactory because it's a cool game. But yeah, last episode we built a large chunk of this factory. There should be some sort of card or something in the upper right hand corner to it. There'll also be a card in the upper right hand corner kind of telling you, or linking, not telling you, but linking you over to the playlist for the entire series. This is like episode 19, 20, something in that neighborhood. So yeah, there is quite a bit of content if you're into Satisfactory and build guides and what have you. Uh, anyways, today we are basically trying to build 30 modular frames. To do that, we are going to require a total of 100 steel pipes a minute and all the requisites to make that. And then we're also going to require a total of 20 reinforced iron plates a minute in order to build the not encased, but the modular frames over here using the alternate steel frame recipe, which takes steel pipe and reinforced iron plate. So I have 10 assemblers laid out right here to build the modular frames. I just need to build all the requisite materials and plug it in. I am going to break these like display machines and the signs just to open up the factory a little bit. I do have the outputs from the machines plugged in already. So once we feed these assemblers with the items and start making modular frames, they will flow into the build and we'll start immediately producing heavy modular frames. Now granted, this build's probably a 20-ish second, 30-ish second transit time into the machine, so there'll be a little bit of spool up, but that's fine. This is the last part. I'm really excited about it. But just because if this is like your first time on the channel, first episode with my content, I am gonna try to throw in a portion of the last episode where I explained all of the steps and materials required to make the 30 modular frames, and that'll be like right about now. We also need to make modular frames. We need a total of 30 modular frames per minute, requiring 10 assemblers running the alternate recipe of steeled frames. This is going to utilize reinforced iron plate and steel pipe to make 3 modular frames. This will require 100 steel pipe per minute and 20 reinforced iron plate per minute to generate our mod frames. Alright, so let's look at the steel pipe first. We're going to need 240 steel ingots a minute, and we're going to need 5 steel pipe constructors to generate the 100 steel pipe a minute. So we need 5 steel pipe constructors. Since we need 5 of those, we actually don't need this. These numbers are wrong. I can tell these numbers are wrong because this is not 240 steel ingots. It's actually 150. I got my math wrong. Sorry about that. Because we get 20 steel pipes, so we need 5 of them for the 100. Each one takes 30, so 5 times 30 is 150. So we only need 150, which means we only need 5 foundries to make the 150 steel ingots. This will require, it's 45 times 5, so let's just do that math. 225, we need 225 carbon dust and 120 iron ingots. The iron ingots will also go down. 5 is going to take 5 times 15 is 60 plus 15, so 75. So a little easier on that. We're going to need, we really don't need 4. We do need 3 coal dust constructors, which means we need 120 coal ore to run all this. This will require, I could just run a single pure coal node to run all of these, and then we don't have to worry about connecting the excess from the beams. So I think I will do that. Just change that note. That's all I need for the coal. Then for the iron, we have what? We need to generate, I'm looking at the wrong building, 75 ingots, which means we need 3 smelters. Only need 3 smelters to make a total of 90 ingots per minute. We could underclock one of them if we really want to get fancy. We might do that. We'll look at it when we get to this part of the build. We need a Mark II miner on a normal node to run the foundries. Yeah, we could do that. Then we don't have to split anything. So that is just to make the steel pipe for our modular frames. Okay. Next, we need to make reinforced iron plate. We need 4 of these assemblers to make the total of 20 we need for our modular frames. We're using just the basic recipe, iron plates and screws to get reinforced iron plate. So we're going to need 120 regular iron plates and 240 screws a minute to operate our 4 assemblers, making the reinforced stuff. So this means we need 6 iron plate constructors for the 120 a minute, or 180 iron ingots a minute to operate the constructors. That's because we get 20 plates per constructor at the cost of 30 ingots per constructor. So that's that. Next, we need to make screws. I'm using the alternate recipe cast screw, which gives you 50 screws for about 15 iron ingots a minute. We need 5 constructors running to create 250 screws. That's a little bit more than what we need, but that's fine. We only need 240, but we're making 250. That's how it is. We need 75 iron ingots a minute to operate the 5 screw constructors. Okay, so we need 9 iron smelters to generate 270 iron ingot for the required 255. What this means is we need a pure iron node with a Mark II miner overclock to make 270 per minute. The other thing we could do, if we don't overclock this Mark II miner, we'd get 240 a minute. And then if we're running a Mark II on a normal, we only need 90. We're going to end up with 120, so we could throw an extra 30 onto that to get the 270. So we're going to take out the overclocked requirement. I could still overclock it, then I don't have to merge the lines. So I'm just going to leave the note here, but bear that in mind. To run the reinforced iron plate side of our mod frames, we do need to overclock a Mark II miner on a pure iron node because we need more than 240. We really need 255, so we could set it exactly at 255 if we're under, or if we're overclocking it, but might as well go to 270 because that's what the belt will hold. If we put a Mark II on a normal and on a pure, then we could run both the steel and uh, rein- the steel pipe and the reinforced iron plate sides of our modular frames um, from without using overclocks. So that's an option too. We'll kind of take a look at. All right, guys. So as that was saying, we're trying to make 30 modular frames. We need steel, we need or steel pipe, and then we need reinforced iron plate. Now, I was talking about at the start of the episode a little bit of blueprint stuff that I got into. Now, I've never messed with blueprints. They got added into the game since the last time I really played it, so I'm excited about it. But those are the assemblers. So these four assemblers and these splitters are for the iron plate and the screws that we need to deliver to this system. So I just kind of have that logistics sort of laid out. I think I might need one more set of splitters, but we'll kind of play that by ear. Not a big deal. Have these catwalks just because it sort of makes it easier to place. But let's talk about blueprints. So if you have the milestone, I think it's tier 4. You get it for blueprints. Um, you build the blueprint designer. You build machines, place buildings and stuff inside of the area in this box that it creates, save them, and then you can place them in the world. So I have like 4, so not a lot, and they're kind of specialized, specific to what this build requires. I need to go through and probably will go through and make some generic ones like here's 8 smelters worth of iron converted into iron plate. Here's that into rods, etc. Where some of the stuff that you use a lot, like the steel ingot one, is actually quite good because this is just 120 steel ingot. 80 coal, 60 iron, bam, you got 120 steel. So that's either 2 constructors making steel beam, or it is 4 constructors making steel pipe. This blueprint is basically that steel 120 steel blueprint, but it has an additional layer on top that provides the constructors for the what you call it. It's it has the constructors up top that will be used to make the steel pipe. So you get steel pipe out of this port right here, which then I can run this direction and plug in right here. Now this is only 80. I need 100, so I really need 2 of these. I think this is where I want it. Now, one of these is iron, the other one is coal, is what's going to be fed in. And so I'll maybe put the iron and coal node for this like down in this area underneath this walkway. Could maybe be interesting, then feed it up. Not a big deal. So all the in-out ports for this blueprint and all the blueprints that I'm going to be using have the in-outs at the ground level, so you don't have to go up the building to get to them, right? I need to plug in power like right here, I think, and that's basically it. So let's go ahead and place this. It's going to build the whole thing, which is great. Saved a ton of time of me having to go place all the buildings individually and all that. So yeah, I can grab this power pole, plug it into that. Everything is now powered. Fantastic. And I have these signs included just so I can remind myself what I was trying to do. So lift will output 80 steel per minute when supplied with 80 coal and 60 iron ore. So let's see which side is which. So this is the coal side, which means this is the iron side. That sounds pretty cool. This is the iron side. No, alright. So I got to put iron into this guy right here. It'll feed this smelter and then the smelter on the floor above. So cool. There's one. What I could do is actually build a copy of this blueprint right next to it. And basically, we'll have all the buildings placed and plugged in, but we'll really only be capable of using like half if we take the remaining 40 coal ore off of a pure node. So I am just going to place this again. And this is the way I want it to go, I think. I don't want it super duper close. So let's place it like here, maybe. That's probably enough room. How's that looking in between? Yeah, that's decent. Okay. Is there a slot on this pole? There is. Great. So I can link them together like that. Everything's powered on this now. And technically, if I supplied this with... Actually, that was the steel pipe one, huh? Shoot. I wish there was a way to, like, quickly clear um, a blueprint. That would have been smart. I guess... Actually, no. I guess that's fine. It's steel pipe that I need ultimately anyway, so let's go ahead and throw in the merger. It's fine. I was thinking I could just do the steel one that I have, but this should be okay. I like giving these just a touch of space so I can see what's going on. And I know this does not need to be a Mark III. This could be a Mark II belt because it's only 80 items a minute coming off this particular build, but we're just going to build it as a Mark III. Why is that not aligning? Like, what is your deal, buddy? There you go. Alright. Interesting. And I'm going to do the same with this one because we got the steel anyway, so might as well use them expensive belts, right? Do that. Now this does kind of block my walkway, which is not ideal, but I can do something kind of like this. To hide an in. Cool. So there's that. All I need to do is get enough coal and iron for a pure node each. Or, well, actually, for the coal, I could do it with a normal node each, honestly, with a Mark II miner, because I need 60 iron to get 80. I only need another 20, really, but I could give it 40 if I give it 40 more iron, right? Or 60 more iron, right? The iron I'm not worried about. If I do a normal node, it'll feed this. This piece on the coal is only 80 coal. So if I use a pure node, I could supply half the coal, which means it'll run at like half capacity. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So that's what we're going to do. We'll place the nodes at the end, I think. That's kind of how I want to do it. But so that is steel pipe basically done. We just need to build the resource nodes, and we can maybe pretty up that design. I'll do that off camera, though. Now for screws, I just have one. I was able to get all of this in a single blueprint, actually, which I thought was pretty cool. This 240 screws per minute is what this design is going to do. Once it places, we need to connect the power to it. I just want to make sure I have this placed right. Shoot. Okay. Arrow keys to nudge, eh? That does okay. Alright. So, I think I do want it back one. Is that enough space? There's kind of a walkway. I'm not going to have a ton of room for the iron. Well, I guess the iron's actually verticalized as well, so there might be enough space. Can maybe cozy this up a little bit, because basically this splitter is the output of this build. That's going to go into a splitter that then feeds these two, and that's it. So I think we can make this work. I am going to need a splitter for the other material as well. Alright. There we go. So, constructors, smelters, all the goodness. We basically just have to give it iron ore. And it's good to go. So there's that plugged in. I thought I put a sign on this. Let's see. It's what? 2 smelters, so I need to give it 60 iron ore in order to run this. Get 240 screws out. Let's grab the splitter that we're going to try to make use of. I think we do want the input like that. See, those are not quite middle, so we'll do something like this. This goes there. This goes there. We can make that a good belt. That one, not so easy. It did it on its own, so that's good. Cool. So those are ready. Okay. That is screws. I just need to put 60 iron ore in here, so I need... Let's forget that for a minute. I need 60 for just the screws. I do have the iron plate build as well. I'm missing materials, so we need to go get parts. So I need iron plate, cable. I should grab concrete as well. So let's go grab materials, and then we can kind of see where we're at. I think I can do this with maybe a single pure iron node, perhaps. Or it might be a pure node and then a, whatchamacallit, a normal node. It might be 1 and 1 is what we may end up doing. Like if I do the normal node with the Mark II for the coal, or not the coal, but the steel side of the build, that might be good enough. To run the production that we're looking to achieve, but grab some cabling, mod frame, rotors, reinforced iron plate. I don't need motors, I don't think. Concrete. And I am just going to drop these small stack items, meaning not full stack, into the sink. That's basically what I've been doing to get all my tickets so far. It's worked out reasonably well. We can drop the 86 cable. Sure, good enough. Just to save us a few slots, because we're gonna have to come back through the tube to grab ore at some point, but that's fine. We're getting close. Like, we're only at like 14-ish minutes in, and we're already like 75-80% of the way through the build because I'm using blueprints instead of hand placing stuff. Now, granted, I built all the blueprints off camera. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are okay with that, and if I should continue doing that, or if you'd prefer to have me show you how to build the blueprints and then use the blueprints to build something. Just let me know in the comments. Just say, hey, I'd like you to show us how you made the blueprints instead of just placing blueprints and saying, yeah, it's a blueprint, blah. Because I know in the past, basically, the way my videos have been set up is I've never used blueprints. I've always built it from scratch and basically worked with ratios. So we'd get long videos, but they got the job done. You know what I mean? They also kind of showed you how to figure out how to calculate stuff on your own, but that's fine. Either way, I mean, I don't care. I'd like to use blueprints because they are just quite handy. So honestly, how does that look? Let's just lock that, and I just want to look at the back mostly. I don't know if you can stand on these or not. Nope. No, you cannot. So actually, I guess this blueprint does have an input at the top. That's where you have to put the ore to run the thing. So I don't know if I like that. I think we're going to move that somewhere else. Still in this part of the factory, but I might change the rotation on it. So maybe it's like this instead. Because where is this expecting ore? This one's ore right here, so this is the front. Really? The back should be this direction. Because we need to take ore up. So yeah, I could do something like this. If I just lock it for a minute. Use the arrow keys, align it with the foundation. Bump that over, at least a little bit. And kind of see, right? So the input for this guy is going to be right here. Okay, so that's easy. This needs 60. So give it 60. Then the input for this one is... Oh, it's over there. Okay. So I actually need to rotate this. Ah, dang it. Threw it away. So... Is it like this? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. What does that leave me on this end to get the output? Okay, so I have to extend this by 1. And I'm good doing that. Let's place it. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So we will just break this wall. Place the foundations. Just so I can walk back here and get the stuff out. Now this one I color-coded the merger that has the output. So if we pull from the green one, there's a sign. Green merger will have an output of 120 iron plate per minute when top level is supplied with 180 iron ore per minute. So this is the guy we're looking to connect in. So I think... Okay, so do it like that. Sure. Okay. So now the iron plate is connected. Let's figure out the ore. Now I can actually fly up here because there's a foundation for me to stand on. So let's see. Yeah, I need 180 iron ore per minute in order to get this guy to run. So we're going to break this sign. Let's see if we can throw the belt down. Or by belt, I mean lift. Sorry. I want to get a lift to port the ore up. And the reason why I built this pathway like this is I felt it made sense to... Or, well, I needed the space for the logistics because it's kind of a lot. Now, granted, you could probably make this a lot smaller and cram it in somewhere or blah, blah, blah. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, I had space, just put it above. So, there you have it. Now, this guy has an input there. Great. So, 60 and 180 is 240, so I should be able to run both of these, is what I'm thinking. Now, I actually... would prefer this going like that. Or I guess we can give it some verticality, just so the belts maybe don't have to overlap. Then we have a splitter back like right here. Mark 2 going in there. Mark 3. Okay. So maybe we lift it. Bring it over. Cool. So a little messy logistics, but that's fine. Now all I need to do is bring in the iron ore. So I need a pure iron node to run our steel plate, or not our steel plate, our iron plate, and our... Go. That's all powered now. So I need a pure node to run our screws and our iron plate. Okay, easy enough. Then to run our steel, if I do a pure node, I can use a Mark 1. If I use a normal node, I can use a Mark 2. And that will run all this. It'll run enough to make 100 pipe per minute. It won't quite do 160 pipe, but we don't need 160. We only need 100. So there's that. So that means I also need a pure coal node. Or a normal. I could do a normal, right? Because... 45, 45. How much coal does this take? Let me just look. So I need 60 iron for each, so 120 iron. That's a normal iron node with Mark II on it. Supply this with 80 coal for 120. So if I put 80, if I get a normal coal node with a Mark II miner, that's 120 coal. That means I could split off 2 lines, merge them, put them into this, which then would have 80 on it. Then take the remaining 40, bring it around this side, put it into here, restricting this to only produce 40 steel pipe a minute instead of the total 80, because it'll be underfed on coal. If I Mark II miner a coal, I'll have some excess coal, but I think I'd then be getting the total 160 steel pipe, so it's probably just worth putting the node. I'll probably do a pure coal, normal iron, pure iron, and that should see us through. So let's go grab some ore, I suppose, because that's really all we have left to do at this point. I also need to make some miner boys. Let's go ahead and clear out this clutter. It'll really make this look a little less chaotic, I think. It is a fairly thrown together build for the most part. Now these blueprints definitely make it a little more organized, and I could see that being a tool that I want to utilize a lot more of in the future. But yeah, I kind of like the signs that I used in the later stages of planning out the factory. Let me know in the comment section below if you like them as well, or if you prefer me to just talk through it and you thought the signs weren't all that great. You can put that in there too. I don't know how I feel about them yet, but I put them in on stuff. I think they're semi-helpful for me, but yeah, I want to get your guys' feedback on that. Um, we will just drop our stuff into the awesome sink because why not? We have everything in our inventory is being made automatically at this point, except for the heavy modular frames, which is what we're getting resources for. Is basically to turn that on. So we can basically drop the space we need. So let's see. It's 3 nodes, all with the Mark II, I believe. So that's 6 of these. Build this stuff first. That way you don't run out of it when you're up there trying to place the actual building. I don't want to make extra trips. It's already going to be 3 of them, which, kind of not the best, but is what it is. So, okay. I just want to double check. What do I need to actually build the Mark II miner? I need the miner, steel pipe, encased beam, and mod frames. So save mod frames, encased beams, steel pipe. Cool. Start by getting rid of the small stacks of stuff because it's like, well, I'd want a round stack anyway, so whatever. Rotor, yeah, that can go, that can go. I want the quick wire for power poles. I probably want regular wiring cable. Let's just shuffle that for a minute. We'll throw in the circuit boards. These I was hanging on to just because they're not close by, but that's fine. We'll go over there and pick up more if we need them. That's kind of where I want to go soon anyway, to kind of lay out some more power. I think we're going to need it, frankly. So let's see. This is 18. This is actually 20 slots. That's 21. Cool. Let's get a pure iron node first. Alright. Hop in. The little tubey. And go up. So, I mean, it's still kind of a long episode. Almost 30 minutes, but definitely not in the hour territory. We should be wrapped up in the next 5-10. Really, at this point, the only time crunch is the time it takes for me to go from where I'm storing the raw ore to where I'm trying to build the factory, you know? So I think kind of towards the top of my priority list at this point, I want to get all the resources I have down at the hub. So at the end of this tube where we got in, I want to take all of those and move them up to this location at this point. So up at, I think it's called Wind Station 1 on the truck station. So Wind Station 1, I'd like to have all the resources from the hub base up here. I kind of think setting up monorail is the way to go for that. So I've been holding off. I need to unlock the milestone and kind of take a look at it and figure it out before I try to show it off or make any content about it. But okay, so I need the pure iron node here. Place it like there maybe, just so there's enough room in the front that I can sneak the oh, I got rid of all my steel beam. Darn it. Now, I could honestly grab a little bit of steel beam from the encased beam that we have being made over on this side. So I'll just do that a little faster. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Of course, reinforce. I was one item short, almost had to run all the way back uh, to get this going. So that'll do the screws and the iron plate. So that should be reinforced iron plate. We need a normal coal, normal iron to get the steel pipe. So by the time we get back with the next set of ore material, we will be probably seeing some refined or reinforced iron plate going into the modular frame assemblers. So that'll be cool. Um, Definitely by the time we have both the coal and... Actually, we can grab the ore for both, now that I think about it, because 1,000 each instead of 20. Or instead of 2,000, sorry. So 10 slots instead of 20. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Cool. Alright. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I was just thinking to myself, do I want to run the full 160 steel pipe? And it's like, part of me is thinking yes, because I could put a smart splitter on that line and have it dump any overflow into a sink. But also at the same time, do I really want to spend the power for it? Maybe not really. Um, I'll think about it. We'll set up the iron one first. Then we'll do the coal, and I'll kind of think about how I want to set that up. We might go back down and grab another 1,000 coal, just so we can build a pure node with the Mark II up here, and run the full steel pipe amount, and then we'll throw in an awesome sink to generate a trickle of tickets off of the steel pipe. I mean, it's not going to be worth a whole lot, but if it's a continuous flow type of a thing, you'll get them over time. Like, I had a decent amount last time I went into the store that were just kind of passively generated. So these are getting screws, they're getting iron plates, so that is good to see. So I need to put iron ore in here. I need to put iron ore in here. I kind of want to put them down here, though, is kind of what I'm thinking. So we're going to take a normal iron ore node. And, like... Can I stick it under here? It'll probably clip with this is the only thing. So we'll maybe put iron... Sure. We'll place it there to start. Okay, that's not clipping, which is great. You've got a slot, which is also great. Now this could be Mark II, so I think I'll use Mark II. Okay, so I need to split this 120 into 2 lanes of 60. That's coal, so it's actually right in here. And you know what? Forget it. We just gonna go get a pure node. And we'll put the coal miner right in front of this one. And it should fit, I believe. So we're gonna go grab another 1,000 coal. I know I'm delaying a little bit. I don't want to do that. Meaning I don't want to delay. But I definitely want a pure node. And then we'll throw down a sink is what we'll do. Might as well. Like, I have the machines placed. They're connected to power, so why not utilize them? We're gonna go expand power here soon anyway. I have like solution heaters and the tier 2 refined power stuff unlocked, so I plan on trying to utilize that as a way to beef up our power. We're sitting fine on power too. Like we're not hurting for power in any way. Um, I think we've got like a gigawatt of headroom, something in that neighborhood. Now we'll wait and see once this whole thing is running because, granted, the headroom is not including our operating machines. So like most of the machines in this factory are turned off because they've already spooled up a full inventory at the buffer inside of the next machine in the line. So none of this is using power except for the stuff we just plugged in with ore. Um, and once we plug in the coal to get our steel pipe made, then everything will slowly start turning back online because the manufacturers will finally have the resources they need to process the materials. So we'll finally have consumption on everything. And this should be a perfect ratioed build, meaning everything that's made here, with the exception of these excess steel pipe we're going to generate, is being consumed. And we're going to consume that excess steel pipe by placing what do you call them? We're going to place an awesome sink to deal with the excess that we generate. Why? Because it kind of makes sense. Let's actually power this first. Cool. Love it when I plan like power connections. It makes my life so much easier, I gotta tell you. What I'm going to do for this is I'm actually going to bring it down to the end. Plug it into this one first. Then I'm going to try to place a splitter on this line, somewhere in like the middle of this foundation. And connect it in like that. Okay. So that should be coal flowing, that should be our steel coming online, that should be steel pipes coming along this belt within maybe a minute or two. I don't actually know how long this spool up is, so we'll time it. It's been maybe 5 seconds since I started talking. Let's see how long until we see our first steel pipe. But I think that should be modular frames automated. We will be making 6 heavy, and by modular frames, it's modular frames to then be turned into heavy modular frames. We're making 6 heavy modular frames per minute with this system running. So I'm very excited about that. That's one of the hardest, or harder. I don't want to say hardest because there's a lot of stuff that's more difficult, I believe. But it's one of the harder things to get automated, but you need to automate in order to continue being able to build massive factories like manufacturers, which are required to build all the new or later game materials. They take heavy modular frames to construct, so you need some heavy modular. You need like a reliable source of heavy modular frames, which is why I built this. So there you have it. Oh, did I not connect this? Okay, that's fun. I forgot to connect this to this conveyor lift. That's interesting. Also kind of funny. I thought that I for sure had this built completely ready to roll. Actually, I want that to face this way. That could also probably be a Mark II, but whatever. That's why we have no steel pipe. I was going to say, this seems to be taking a while. I think I have to connect this one too. Yeah, I do. Interesting. I must not have saved it after I added in the connection point here, but that's okay. Not a big deal. This is pretty easy, so one of the things about using blueprints that can be seen as a downside, you definitely want to make sure that you double check that everything's running the way it's supposed to. Like I've got these. These blueprints are all running with green lights, right? Nothing's running weird, except for these. So this one is a yellow light. Because it does not have the iron ingots it needs. I think this is a merger when it's supposed to be a splitter. Yep. Wait, what was that doing? It's a smart splitter. Oh, okay. I think I understand what was going on. This is also a smart splitter. Basically, it's the overflow goes into this merger and then outputs. Okay. Yeah, I also recall this being a bit of a pain to place. These just haven't stockpiled, so there's no overflow yet to run this last one. So that's fine. Okay, that's fine. I intended that with the design. There would be some spool up. This one's red light. I don't know. Probably just need to disconnect and reconnect the power. But that was not the power pole or power line miner. Great. I unplugged something else. This. I unplugged that. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. We do have steel pipe. Yay! Steel pipe is flowing. We do need to set up the logistics over on this side for this bad mama. And the reason why I'm doing this and kind of delaying going and looking at the final result is because I just want to make sure that we have this running, A, and B, I also want to give at least a little bit of time so that it can run and generate a few heavy modular frames for the box. So there we go. Looks like all these blueprints are running the way I want. As far as like encasing all this stuff and kind of building the walkways, I'm going to do that off camera in between episodes, most likely, kind of fill it all in. Once it's finished, meaning I finish building out the rest of the factory, as far as from a cosmetic standpoint, we'll come do like a tour of the whole thing. We'll kind of walk through it and take a look so you guys can get a feel for how I designed the building around everything we're producing. But if we take a look-see, these do have some modular frames trickling in. Fantastic. So yeah, some of these mod frames are being churned out. It looks like we're still waiting on steel pipe to trickle in. Yeah, that's what we're waiting on. I guess reinforced iron plate too. Probably because we cut power to it or something. I don't know. Let's actually look at that. But there are modular frames coming out, so that's good. We finished the goal, meaning we finished getting modular frames automated. They're not up at full kilt yet. I think that's just the system kind of spooling itself. But we do have all green lights now. That's great. Oh, we were going to put in an awesome sink worm. Well, this is a chunker. We're going to put him back here. We don't really need to access it. We just need to build or grab the overflow is all. So I'm going to go. It needs to come after this merge, so I'm going to come up here and grab a smart splitter. Replace this guy. Should have any going out the front. The right output will be overflow. Then I'm going to take a Mark III. Actually, we'll take a Mark II. Probably doesn't need to be anything more than a Mark II. And we'll actually put it on a lift. No, because then it goes... we'll put it on a lift on the inside. I know that's kind of soft clipping in a not so great way, but you know what? It's okay. We will live. Do that, and there we go. Really, I do want this Mark III. Get it? Might as well, right? That's what I'm saying. I got the steel for it, so there we go. Okay, now when we do fill up that line of steel pipe, we will have a place for the overflow to go, meaning everything will constantly run. Let's see if there's any heavy modular frames in the box yet. Ooh, I see some on the belt. They're going in, guys. Oh, yeah. We've generated a total of 4 so far. So that means once we hit 2 more, we've done a full 1-minute cycle of this factory. So we're almost there. They're coming in on the line as we speak. So 5 and 6. So that is 6 heavy modular frames. Took us 1 minute to produce those. So we've had 1 minute of runtime of our manufacturers producing heavy modular frames. We have a total of 3 of them, generating a total of 6 heavy modular frames per minute. Super exciting, super stoked. Now we've got everything we need, basically, to just go out and build factories and whatnot. As far as what I plan on doing in the next episode, likely we're either going to be looking at Tier 2 refined power and solution heaters and, making fuel and all of that. So it might be an oil refinery episode, or what it could be is taking a look at monorail and kind of getting our base supplies that are being built at the hub up to wind station, and then maybe even going all the way out to the oil platform and just synchronize the items we want to have on hand in 3 locations. So if I'm building here, if I'm building down by the hub, if I'm building out at the oil platform, I have those resources available to me. I also probably will make an episode about how to use the blueprint designer in prepper. Like, I'll maybe make an episode showing it off and kind of talking about it in more depth. I used blueprints today. We did not really go over how to use this designer very well, so I want to make an episode about that because I think it's a pretty good tool. So we'll do that in an episode, probably making some blueprints that we would then use for the next episode. So like, we'll do the blueprint designer, making blueprints for a factory or a build that I want to get set up. Then we'll go do that build or factory right at, depending on the size and the timing and stuff, whatever. So we're going to do an episode on blueprints. We're going to do an episode on Tier 2 refined power utilizing fuel and solution heaters. Then we're also going to do monorail for improving our logistics between large distances and multiple locations. And yeah, I'll also probably in between episodes finish building out this building. So we'll do a tour of our heavy modular frame facility. I'll probably go over to the computer facility I have built, pretty it up a little bit, and then we'll tour that facility. So we'll probably have like a base tour episode as well, because I do have quite a bit of stuff built. But anyway, guys, if you want to see all that and you have not done so already, subscribe to the episode, not to the episode, but to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notified if you want to. But I plan on making some more Satisfactory content because I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and I think people find it useful. Hopefully you do. Let me know in the comment section if you found this video useful or helpful in any way. But guys, I think we're going to call it here for today. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.